toil in the streets with slashers and jambes. How are you going to convince us that you are not doing political appointments with the youths? And when will the sons of the poor in this country also get an opportunity to be directors, like we are seeing the sons of those big politicians? Number three, as I conclude, we've seen the government as it does appointments nowadays. You abuse William Samoei Ruto in the social media, you get a position, a very big position in government. Do you really look at the merits of these youths? Or you just look at this somebody is abusing the deputy president or is politically correct in the social media, and then you get those positions? What are the criteria that you use to select the youths who go to carry jembes and select other youths to be appointed into the government big positions? What is the criteria?
I mean, before you sit down, I just need some clarification. Is this a question to her as an individual in her individual capacity or the ministry?
The youth advisor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I can see there's a lady at the back.
She's also not warning us.
Less emotions, please.
Nobody's dying.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
First of all, my name is Immaculate, and this is my question. We've had, so many of you have talked about pregnancies, like the teenage pregnancies, which the media has really focused on during this period for Corona. But then, come to think of it, we have so many other issues, and like we've said, the teenage pregnancies are mostly, they come from the rural or those places, like we have Machakos, we have, those. And then we have very less, maybe from the other developed counties, as you might say. But then come to think of it, in this period, like in Nairobi, we have other issues, like the drug addict. We have things like people stealing, all those stuff. What are you, as somebody who is standing in for our youth, what are you doing about such issues? Or are you just focused on what the media is telling us, like there's so many pregnancy issues? What are you doing about the other criminal acts which are there?
There was a question on this side. Okay, give it to that gentleman, and then Jane, I don't know if you'd like to, would you want to take all of them first, then answer all at once, or like two questions, then we proceed? Okay, 3 questions. The third, is that the third person?
That's the third.
Okay, from him, and then we give her a chance to respond.
Kwa majina naitwa Captain Ibrahim Wafula, One Leg Network. Swali yangu ni hii. Kama sisi wanatuita disability, lakini ni able different. Kwa upande ya transport, kama government imetupangia nini? Kwa sababu unasukuma mtu na wheelchair. Hiyo yote ni kwa watu wawili. Ukiingia kwa gari, kuingia tu kwa gari yenyewe haina mlango ya disability. Plan gani mko nayo? Thank you.
Okay, we'll give a chance to Jane to respond to those first 3 sets.
Good afternoon. I'm happy that we are here to engage, and we are going to talk to each other and not at each other, because I believe it's by doing that that we'll come up with solutions. I'm an advisor to the cabinet secretary, and government has structures. The cabinet secretaries are the advisors to the president. And so, I don't want us to just dismiss any Kenyan just because maybe they come from a wealthy family or a low or in the informal settlements. I believe if they have been appointed on merit. And I want to believe if there are issues that we have as young people, there are better ways to channel those issues to get answers. As we have said, we have the numbers. We need to take our rightful place as young people, not just because youth is not enough. We have to show that we have what it takes. We have to have the substance as we engage, then we can be listened to. So if you, the one who have asked, you have very good reasons why the people have not been appointed, then I can guide you to the right channel so that you can also, your voice can be heard. But I will not come be part of just because appointments have been done. I want to believe that every Kenyan has a right to be heard and has a right to be appointed. So if there is anything on the contrary that you have against the ones that have been appointed, then that's why you have us here. I'm here to listen to you, and then I can escalate it to the next level. About teenage pregnancies, as I said, Kikao now is going to the grassroots. As government, we are cognizant to the fact that young people living in different places are different and they have different issues. And that's why we localize Kikaos by coming to you and addressing things that and challenges that you go through in that particular area so that we can come up with homegrown solutions. And in those Kikaos, we have seen so many other issues coming up because we come to you and you help us even come up with products and programs that are suitable for you differently. In Kikaos, we've had Kikao that we specifically address issues to do with young people and extrajudicial killings. There are young people you'll go to and they tell you that their biggest issue is the extrajudicial killings. So what do? We bring the stakeholders and the players in that space to come and interact with the young people and see that we talk and address the issues that they are being affected, the young people are going through. So we bring the DCI, we bring the, if it's IPOA, we bring the internal security to just talk to young people, because young people are saying that, yes, we were in crime, but we are reformed now. But when you are reformed, haujatolewa kwa rada, true or false? They will still think that you're still in crime, is it? So we come to you, and when you come up and tell us this is the challenge you are facing, young people are saying even to get good conduct is an issue, especially if you have been in crime. Bado hujatolewa kwa rada, itakuwa tu ikionyeshana you have been in crime. So those are the solutions we are trying to come up with to help you now fit in the community and coming up with programs that address the extrajudicial killings and how reformers now fit in the society. We have different issues that come up. The drivers, have just spoken to one guy, conductor. What are your specific challenge that you go through? It's upon when we sit together and listen to you that you are able to even help me escalate it and bring to you the relevant agency or the relevant program in government that can be able to tackle that issue. I want to reiterate the President's commitment to youth agenda of this country. If you look at it, for the first time, 9 young people have been appointed to be cabinet assistant secretaries. 9 of them. That should show you that there is hope for young people. And if you listened to the President during the International Youth Week last week, he said he's even going to appoint more. Because when young people come together, better things will happen, is it? So you can see that even he wants young people to be, not now just outsiders, but to also sit with him in terms of decision making. The National Youth Council, it has a CEO called Mr. Roy Sasaka. He's a youth.
He's below 35.
He is below 35. One thing I encourage the young people, we have to change the narrative. So many things are happening, but maybe the only thing that the young person needs to know is the information. I hear you. Maybe you have already concluded that Roy Sasaka is over 35, but actually he's under 35. So it's when we engage, we get to know what is the truth and what is a rumor. And let us hold each other responsible. As PLO Lumumba said, light your light your candle. What is it that we are doing as young people to change the narrative? Are we just going to sit down and complain? Or we are going to organize ourselves? We are going to mobilize, organize ourselves, and know how to engage government. And that's why we are here. To tell you that there are so many programs and opportunities. Maybe you don't know, but we are able to lead you to the right place that give you the right information for you to realize your full potential. What is it that you have on your hands? What is it that you have? Is it art? Do you know that Youth Fund is not only funding people in business, but they are also funding talent? We have seen talent pays, is it? Talent pays. They are funding even up to 2 million to an individual. You have just to show us that you have the talent. Maybe you don't know, and that's why we are engaging today. Oh, did you know that the debates that we have talked about, it's about giving you information. And for you now, going for these things. Because the people who read the good Bible, God says that time and chance happen to them all. There are opportunities around you. Jitume. Na mimi tukutane katikati, we are able to solve these problems. Thank you.
Asante sana. You've heard from her that there are opportunities around. What do you have in your hands? What can you do with what you have? I'm only going to take one more round because we need to go into the roundtable discussions. Some of your questions will be answered within the roundtable discussions because facilitators are here to engage us. So just one more round. I'm trying to see, yes. Yeah, Susan. Is it working? Could we get the other microphone, please?
I think it's working.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize one thing which Jen has brought up. The truth is, not all young people think youth. Okay? So not all young people think youth. Not all youth think youth. So why am I saying so? Maybe I can give you a little bit of the history of NYC, National Council, National Youth Policy. And I was privileged to be among those young people who started that conversation and who worked on it up to the time when NYC was launched. I was saddened that, remember when we were going to Parliament to push for it, around that time we had so many youthful MPs. Actually, we had a number of MPs who were below 35 years old. But can I shock you that the MPs who were arguing on the floor and pushing through that bill were elderly MPs. And one of them was the late Mishuki. May God rest his soul in peace. What am I saying? He had time to even push and fight for this bill to go through. And most of those young MPs whom we had lobbied, tried to do everything, had no time for that. So I'm saying, as much as we want to see who is that under 35, who is in that office, let's not be blinded about the age. Let's look for people who also have youthful agenda. Like I will tell you, around that time, had we not had a person of Mishuki, and he was almost 70 years old, probably will not be having National Youth Council in place. So even we as young people is a challenge. We're challenging government to bring about these opportunities. We want to see who is this youth who is in that position. Yes, I will tell you, we had so far we have 9. Are you happy? Are you happy? But I can also tell you that we have other state officers who are not youth, or probably who are doing a lot. So I told you in the morning, let's know how to bargain. Let's identify what is our problem. Our major problem that we must find solution, and us must be that solution, is economic development, right? That must be our contribution. So let's look around the government institution, see who are these people who are in charge of those sectors, those areas, those windows of opportunities. And go there with an open mind, telling them, we as young people, this is what we need. But if we go there and asking the president, how many people have you appointed? Okay, fine. So that now that they have appointed Susan or so and so, probably who is under 35 years, how are you going to benefit? Okay? And the government can appoint everybody to be youth, isn't it? Today, the president, he can appoint. But if you do not have a concrete youth agenda, do you think you're going to benefit anything? No, so I just wanted to correct that and say, we might be saying, why is that guy not out? Yes, fine, he will be out. But has that solved your problem? No, so we must stick to the agenda. We must make sure that everybody is talking about our youth agenda. And then the question about kazi mitaani. Before I went to study political science, I studied TV production. And a funny thing about TV production, in that particular school, our classes were rugged. They were not these so good halls. There was some funny class somewhere. And then we kept on asking our lecturers, why don't we have good classrooms? Why aren't our classes modernized? And he told us, in TV production, we teach creativity. And we have to expose you to an uncomfortable environment so that you become creative thinkers. So anything, and I said young people are associated with thinking, creativity, innovative thinking. And for me, I have a positive side that can come from that kazi mtaani. When you're taken back to your area, and you're able, as you clean that environment, so many entrepreneurial ideas can come into being. So I'm saying, much as we are saying, why ABCD? But if life gives you lemon, try to make lemonade out of. Okay, young people? Yeah. So I'm saying even that kazi mtaani, we may think it's a punishment, but it's something that is propping up our thinking and making us become resilient and be solution finder. So sometimes it's also not to look at everything as a punishment. We can look at everything also as a stepping stone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. In this, please, I can see so many hands up, but as I had mentioned earlier, we will be going to the round table discussions, and some of your questions will be answered there. So I'm just going to take one round, and in this round, there is a gentleman who has specifically requested that he needs to ask a question. He sent a question to me, but I'd like him to ask the question personally about persons with disability. Who is the person who brought this question forward? Yes, kindly give him the mic. And oh, he already asked the question?
Yes, I can answer that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I can answer that. Persons with disability are critical also in the kikaos that we're doing. And we work closely with the National Council for Persons of Disability, the council itself. And I will give you the name of the chairman so that you speak to him to just get to know about the transport, especially during this COVID. If you want to take it down. 0722 644 705. As we have said, it's about linking you to the solution. And I believe he's called Mr. Mushiri. He's in a better place to tell you. You're able even to seek an appointment and you go to the council. I'll also want to tell you, the one concerned with the youth fund, as I've said, they are funding people in businesses talents? Are you in art? Whatever you're doing and you think what you need is financial or the business skills or the entrepreneurship skills, then you can get in touch with the Youth Fund. They have a website, but you can also speak to Mr. Mudendi, who is the acting CEO. His number is 0722 811 757. 0722 811 757. We have also very many opportunities in the film industry. And I believe that is an area that is very ripe for young people, because as we have said, we can make a living. It's about putting money in the pockets of the young people. All these opportunities in Kenya Film Commission are there, and sometimes listening just and getting to know these opportunities is not enough, but taking them up. So I saw some group the other day, they took advantage of the COVID and were even given over 200,000 by Kenya Film Commission just to do a documentary of what they are doing in terms of COVID with their communities. I'll also want to give you the person who, if you know you are in talent and you want to approach the Kenya Film Commission, you can as well, you will always find them on their website, or now they're on social media. But the CEO is called Mr. Owase. They have amazing, amazing staff that can empower you and your groups or the people you represent to. 0722 287 3967. 0722 28 3967. As we're also looking at COVID, there are so many other opportunities that have come with the technology. And that's why we have said as government we have Ajira Digital that can expose you to this and can actually give you the skills that you require to help develop your innovations and the new thinking around it. As Susan has said, even in kazi kwa mtaani, let's just be positive and see, because that is just a short-term intervention that the government is doing. But as a young person who wants to go back to where they were or to just have new thinking, you can be able to just interrogate your environment and see what it is that you can make do with the kazi mtaani. So with Ajira, you can talk to us, Zilva, 0722 874203, 0722 874203. What I just want to reiterate is that we are here to give you hope. All is not lost. Let us, as young people, change the narrative and want to know what is it the government, your government, is doing to help you realize your full potential. Show us what you have with your hand, and we'll show you the interventions and the opportunities that are there for you. And we link you up. As you know, government is an enabler. We are there to give you an enabling environment, link you up to funds, or to more skills, and then also link you up to markets. Let's work together to realize your full potential. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jane. I'm so sorry, but we are not going to take any more questions. I think she's sufficiently answered the questions that we had. If you look at your program, it's now 2 p.m. We had given you a chance to ask a question. Yeah. Uh-huh. Wow. That is what we call being proactive. All right, let's just okay. 1 second. Second, please. Yes, Jen. Use the other one. Use the other one.
I'm so happy with all these questions that are coming in. I'm so happy, and I'm willing to engage. And what I can do as your representative also in government, I'm able to help you and put the issues that are coming from here, I escalate it and make sure that we get solutions. Yeah? So I've noted that, and I believe at the end of this, session, we will wrap in the questions, and every question, what I can do, I can promise and commit that I will follow it up, and I'll be able to give you the solutions. I'll be able to follow up with the people involved, people concerned, and we are able to even give you more information that you did. So my commitment from this meeting is that I will take it up. That's why I'm here, just to listen to you, and all is not lost. Let's be positive as young people.
Yeah. I think that's a good note to whatever is burning. I'm sure it will not blow up KICC. If it is not so hot to blow up KICC, and the problem with that, with me giving you a chance, is that everybody thinks their question is burning. What is it? I'm giving you 30 seconds. In fact, 31 seconds. Yes. I understand. I totally, I hear you, and as I had, yes, as I had mentioned earlier, we are getting into round table discussions where these guests are still going to sit with us, and some of the questions that you have will be answered within the round table discussions. And then again, wow. Okay.
I hear you, but just as my title reads, I'm an advisor. So I'll take up, all of us would want, I also saw this corona thing saying, kwa nini msigawie kila mtu pesa yake? You remember, kila mtu kwa ajue amepatiwa 1 million ajipange nayo. Corona ikikupata ni shida yako. Yeah, we have all these good ideas, and I agree to it. As a government which is committed to tackling this unemployment, and we know unemployment is a global issue. As an advisor, I hear you, and I will make an advisory. I commit to make the advisory, but no, I'm not the decision maker. Mine is advisory. So I take it up, I take you seriously, and you can be assured, and you can follow up on this. I'll make an advisory on that. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all have burning questions. We all do have burning questions, but kindly let us respect the program for now and allow us to go into the roundtable discussions. We've had facilitators who've been waiting to facilitate these discussions, and I am hopeful that within these roundtable discussions, there'll be members of the organizing team to take your questions if any question has not been answered. But at this point, I'd like to invite us to just give a round of applause to Jane. She's done such a wonderful job. She has done such a wonderful job. Tumpigie makofi. It is not easy sitting in a seat. Thank you so much. To Jane and Susan, it's not easy sitting in that particular seat where everybody has concerns, everybody has issues. And just before I give it to John to come and direct us on the next stage of the roundtable discussions, allow me to just sort of share my experience, kidogo to my youth life experience. I remember 1 second. This is very relevant. This is very relevant. As I invite John to come here and give us the directions. Yes. Okay, 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 yes. All right, if you notice, the questions you're asking are actually in alignment with one of the 5 thematic areas that we have on our program, the 6 thematic areas, which is entrepreneurship and financial access. And that is why I've been mentioning continuously that allow us to go into the roundtable discussions, because some of those questions will actually be best answered in those sessions. And as I was finishing before I invite, so that particular question should be answered in the roundtable around the roundtable discussion that will be discussing entrepreneurship and financial access. So whenever you hear the groups being mentioned, please make sure you attend that particular one to get your questions answered. And for anybody whose questions have not been answered, please note them down so that when the discussions begin, you can be sure to put them forward and make sure you're in the right group so that your question is answered in the appropriate group. And just before I invite John, I was saying that a few years back, I was seated right where most of you are, where we would go for functions, youth functions, and when an opportunity presents itself to give an opinion or a question, we would ask questions and give opinions as if the world was coming to an end, you know? And I'm still young, still very young, by the way. But the difference and what I saw, I kept on, I would consistently go for functions. People would know me as the girl who would ask scathing questions, as the girl who would ask serious questions to government. Why is this not being done? Why is that not being done? And one thing that changed my perspective about government and how government works and delivery of services to the young people and change and development and growth within the youth sector is when I attended an IEBC forum, I think back in 2013, just before the elections. And one of the person who was outgoing as a chairperson of the IEBC back then made a statement that changed my view and permanently changed how I handle myself when I go to youth forums. And he said something to the effect that if you're not seated at the table, then you're on the menu. If you're not seated at the table, you're on the menu. And sitting at the table doesn't necessarily mean, oh, you know, getting an appointment. It doesn't necessarily mean having a big position. And he went ahead to say that, you know, negotiation dialogue sometimes is the key to the resolution of some of these problems that we have as young people. And he also went ahead to say something that right now, the world is in short supply of problem solvers. We have a lot of complainers, we have a lot of people who will complain and come to forums and throw, trust me, and bring down the house with serious questions. And some of them, as you had said, as a gentleman who had first asked when we started, had said that, you know, it might even sound insultive, sometimes even use strong language and very insultive words when we're trying to address people in government. But we fail to realize that government works with problem solvers. And the world is in short supply of problem solvers. So as you're asking those questions, as you're asking what has government not done, why don't you calm down and ask yourself, what can I do within my small space and environment as a young person to bring about change? And when I began looking at things from that particular perspective, my view of life, how I operate, how I do my things, my absorption into some of these programs really changed. I mean, people want to engage somebody who is thinking more about the solution as opposed to throwing around the problem. Because we all get to hear about problems every single day. So I challenge you that in your next engagement, in whatever forum that you go to, how about you start thinking about how can I stand up and give a solution as opposed to stand up and complain? Because trust me, these very problems you're complaining about, they know about these problems. Why don't you initiate, you know, come up with a group where you come from that will solve that particular problem that you would wish to complain about, and see if government will not partner with you. So I mean, I hope it inspires one or two people to think differently and to engage differently in the coming forums. So allow me to welcome John Nene to give us the next directions as to how we are going to do the roundtable discussions. But before I leave the stage, please, let me invite us to just clap for ourselves for being such an engaging audience. Asanteni sana. Oh, and before I forget, someone left their phone while having tea. Oh, it was you? All right. Sawa. Nakuletea. It's okay, let me bring it to you.
Thank you very much, Ruth. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, one is that let us not bombard the government so much. Because if they feel that we are very aggressive, we will not even continue with the sessions. You know our government very well. I want to tell you, yes, we are here at the mercy of the government. Yes, no, you cannot stand alone and fight the government. The government is bigger than you. Think about the army. Yeah, we are here to grow with our government. We don't want to fight our government. There are only three ways of convincing a human being. Number one is dialogue. You know, Mugabe used to quote this a lot, but he never followed the procedures right, yeah? He said there are only three ways, but he started with the last one. The best is dialogue. If you follow your history well, if you follow even the history of the Bible, the Quran, God starts with dialogue. To a point that you think God is weak. And then he will set an example. And then finally, he will crush that kingdom if it is useless. So let us start with dialogue. And I'm very optimistic that dialogue is going to work for Kenya. Kenya is a very progressive nation. If you guys know when the government disconnected from the people and we are still eating, if some of the things that happen in this country happens in Europe in one day, nobody will eat. The welfare society is supported fully by the government. If that money is stolen, I don't know what will happen. So us, we are very entrepreneurial, we are very progressive, and we are very hardworking. And this is the potential we want to tap. Now, there is another bigger giant you guys are not seeing. All of you are focusing on the government. The government is just a partner to this program. We have a lot of other organizations with a lot of resources to help us as young people, is that we don't know. I don't want to give my small CV, but if I wonder why I do all these things. Yeah? I do so many things that I wonder why I do them, because this continent is so rich that if you start doing something for this continent, you will not stop until Jesus comes. Things are still not touched. I was talking to a German lady and she was very honest to me. And she told me, we've stolen so much from Africa. And when we look back, it's like Africa is giving birth to more resources. It's like we've touched nothing, zero. So we want to tap into our resources, and we have to tap into our talents, and we want to tap into our energy. And when you have gotten your product right, my friend, you will sell it. Zuckerberg did not start by looking at the market. He started by perfecting his product. Yeah? And just what you can bear witness that I told you now the round table is smart, it will sell. See, that's what I told you. How long did it take me to sell? Yeah? I perfected this youth round table for 2 years. 2 years. And I sold it for 1 week. Is it right? 1 week, and it has already taken. It is now even bigger than what I thought. So guys, this is why we are going to those round tables. Don't joke with the idea you have in your head. Unleash that idea, and we are here to help you grow. We are thinking socio-economic. We are not starting with Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah was a very great man, but if you read The Africa by Meredith, he ended up in Gatas. Is it not right? Yeah, because he thought that, first of all, get the political kingdom and the rest will be added unto you. It is not right. Get the economic power and the political power will be nothing. It will be a very small page in the newspaper. The economic power is everything. We are down not because we don't have the freedom of politics as Africans. We are down because we don't have the economic power. Is that right? Yeah, so we are going to our groups now. And these group sessions, the main reason, one is we know each other. You know the potential of another person. So we want us to open up. What are you doing? What are you leading? Who are those people that you know? Because I believe these are all leaders. Let us interact at that basis. And then show us what you are doing in your small ways. We'll be having Ruth's organization. The role will be assembling all the projects that you guys will provide. And then we will make them better. The experts will make them better. And then we'll manage them. And even if we were to bring all the youth in Kenya to this forum, we will still not exhaust the potential of this country alone. Do you know that Libya only had one thing, oil? But then they exhausted it and they were giving aid up to Americans. Do you know that? Do you know how much resources we have as a country? We have the best agricultural land. We have oil in large quantity more than Libya. Do you know that? Yeah? We have gold in large quantity. We have everything. We just need to tap them so that we enjoy. So as we go to our roundtables, open up, give us those projects. Let us link you to the people who can help you grow. Think about that. The next time you come to talk about issues, the government will be very happy. Is that right? Even the government is burdened now. I'm a contractor. They owe us 400 billion. They will not even pay us. Paka kuna committees za counties zinakwambia tunakupa ine usitudai tena. That's right? Yeah. So we want to support the government also through creativity so that the money in the bank can be spent. There are people around the country now looking for people to help them spend their money. They have a lot of it, but they don't have what ideas on how to do it. So this is why we have this forum. We are purely thinking socio-economic. And then the political power will be added unto us. Are we ready to do that? Yeah, so as we go into our groups, open up, go to a group where you feel your passion is. Don't just go to any group. Go to the group you feel, I have passion for this thing. Give us those ideas and also present to us what you are doing on your own or as a group, and then we will help to link you up with the people who can help you grow. Sawa.
And John, as we are going into the groups, I want to remind us that as you give your ideas, kindly patent. Very important. Because sometimes you give your ideas and somebody else tomorrow you're like, that was my idea.
Yeah, true.
You know, learn how to patent, and that's why we are Ministry of ICT, Innovation and Youth. Learn how to patent your ideas. And let's dialogue. And you are the solution providers.
And they have agreed to work with us throughout these sessions. And whatever we will ask for support, if they can, we will get from the government. And what we will not get from the government, there are a lot of other people who are willing to support us. Tuko tayari tuingie kwa hizo groups zetu sasa. So the groups were entrepreneurship and financial access. We are both social enterprises. You know, social enterprises like those who are running volunteer organizations, CBOs, these empowerment and awareness creation organizations. Those are social enterprises. And these are the businesses you will group in one. And then we have sports, arts and recreation. Yeah, you sit together. There's a lot of money on sports. I think it's the biggest funding agency. And there's no single youth, apart from my friend from Migori who has a football academy, and he's doing so well. Yeah, we have people who can build new stadiums if you are very organized. So what your sports pia wakai, modern agribusiness. This one we just link you like this. There's no anywhere. Go to these donor agencies. There is nothing that is funded heavily right now like climate change. Climate change. You just don't know. Even guys who are doing digital have some money for climate change. So agribusiness and climate change, this is the core. Everybody must eat. So let's also come up with ideas there. Digital groups, and we need wale wa jamaa, leaders and governors. We need you guys. Hakuna magavana hapa, hakuna watu hapa. Ingieni kwa hizi position. Tuko tayari? Tuingie kwa hizo groups sawa inshallah. Tuingie. Yeah, it will go for how long? 30 minutes. Within 30 minutes, you give us, you discuss as members, you know each other, and then you also give us those economic ideas, patent it, as she has said, but then you will be following up with Ruth on the implementation side. Our role is just to link you up. Sawa, mtaanza kujifunza my elevator pitch, yeah? Na vile mtauza ideas zenu. Then the government also, on another note, before she leaves, they have promised for Nairobi to do more trainings and more linkages because Nairobi has over 5 million population. So after we finish the rounds from the rest of the country, we will do again Nairobi, and then we will be monitoring how active you guys will be, and then we'll organize for you exchange programs. I've already partnered with Melbourne University in Australia and the rest. So the flourishing leaders will go there and exchange the programs and come and give up. Ukipata usitusahau. Hai, karibuni sana. Okay, so those who came later when we had formed the groups will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can just ask where your passion is depending on the topical areas. Everybody has this paper. We just combine the entrepreneurship and financial access. They will join with social entrepreneurs peer and the community volunteers. Sawa sawa. Kila sekta iko na pesa mahali imelala tu. Wanashindwa mahali ya kupeleka. There's another organization that was saying because of COVID-19 they didn't even spend the budget for their year. Sasa wanashindwa wafanye nini? Si tumulete tuwapeleke. Tuko tayari? Haya.